Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. In this lesson, you are going to learn the IUPAC nomenclature of carboxylic acid. So in this lesson, you will see on how to draw the structures and name the carboxyl compounds according to the IUPAC nomenclature. So for the IUPAC naming and structure drawing, kita hanya akan tengok untuk parent chain yang mempunyai 10 carbon atom dan ke bawah sahaja. And also you are going to learn the common names of the carboxylic acid for the parent chain 5 carbon and less. This is the general structure of carboxylic acid. So here is the carboxyl group dan ini adalah R group. Di mana R ini could be alkyl ataupun aryl ataupun hydrogen. So basically, the positions of the carboxyl group ini akan berada at the end of the bonding, at the end of the carbon chain. These are the 5 important common names of carboxylic acid. So 1 carbon of carboxylic acid is known as formic acid. 2 carbons of carboxylic acid is acetic acid. 3 carbons of the acid is known as propionic acid. 4 carbons as butyric acid, and 5 carbons of carboxylic acid known as valeric acid. And these are the IUPAC nomenclature for each of the carboxylic acids. And now we are going to discuss the steps to give the IUPAC nomenclature of carboxyl compound. You have to start with finding the longest and continuous carbon chain containing carboxyl group as the parent chain. And then the carbon of the COOH is numbered as carbon 1. So this carbon will be labeled as carbon 1, carbon yang pertama. And the positions of the COOH will be at the end of chain. The third one, for the nomenclature, drop the E in alkane and kita substitute with oic acid. So for example, if we have methane, so the name of methane, sekiranya kita ada carboxylic acid in that one carbon compound, maka you have to drop the E dan gantikan dengan OIC acid. So the name will become methanoic acid. And then for the substituent, like usual, you have to identify the name and the location of the substituent. And then no need to indicate the positions of COOH in the nomenclature. Kenapa? Kerana kumpulan carboxyl berada di hujung of parent chain. So there's no need to indicate the positions of the carboxylic acid. So in this structure, you have to choose the longest and continuous carbon chain as the parent chain, and that carbon chain must contain COOH. And you have to start the numbering at the carbon of the COOH in the parent chain. So by doing that, maka kita akan ada sebanyak 5 carbon atoms in the structure of the carboxylic acid. So the 5 carbons refers to pentane if it is an alkane. So since we have carboxyl group in the structure, so the name will become pentanoic acid. And for this structure as well, the first carbon will be the carbon of the carboxyl, which is here, and proceed with the numbering to get the length of the parent chain. And since we have 6 carbons containing COOH, so the name of this compound will be hexanoic acid. By applying the concept that we have here, so in order to give the name for this first compound, what you have to do is you have to give numbering for the parent chain dahulu. So definitely this carbon will be carbon number 1, and proceed numbering until the end of the parent chain. And then identify the name and the location of the substituents. So it seems like we have methyl groups. Okay, 2 methyl groups on the 5th and the 6th position. So by having this marker, the name of this molecule will be 5,6-dimethyl-noanoic acid. And for the second structure, again you have to choose the most longest and continuous carbon chain that containing carboxyl group. And it seems like this is the longest and continuous carbon chain containing carboxyl group. And for the numbering, you have to start numbering from this carbon definitely. Okay, proceed the numbering until the end of the parent chain. And then identify the name and the location of the substituents. So here we have nitro on the 4th position dan juga bromo pada 3rd position, and that will give you 3-bromo 4-nitroheptanoic acid. So in order to write the full name of the compound, kita kena susun the substituent according to alphabetical order. Okay, macam biasalah. For the compound that has 2 carboxyl group, so the compound will be named as alkane dioic acid. So as in this example, kita ada a compound that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms dan kita ada sebanyak 2 carboxyl group pada kedudukan karbon yang pertama dan juga karbon yang ke-5. So, since we have 5 carbon atoms in this molecule, so the name of this compound will be pentane dioic acid. So, di sini, it is not necessary to indicate the positions of the carboxyl carbon. Okay, C1 dengan C5 ni, kita tak perlu indicate the position. Kenapa? It is understood that when we say pentane dioic acid, bermaksud pada 5 carbon of the parent chain itu akan mengandungi sebanyak 2 carboxylic acid. Di manakah kedudukan of that carboxylic acid? Definitely pada karbon yang pertama dan juga karbon yang kelima di dalam this pentane penamaan. Okay, kerana kedudukan of the carboxyl mesti berada di hujung. Sama ada hujung di sebelah kiri ataupun hujung di sebelah kanan of the parent chain. So, it is not necessary to indicate the location of the carboxyl carbon in the parent name. Let's study this example. So, by applying the steps we have learned in the previous slides, so in order to give the name of this carboxylic acid, so firstly you have to choose the most longest and continuous carbon chain containing carboxyl sebagai parent chain. So in this structure it seems like kita ada sebanyak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon atoms yang mengandungi carboxyl. Dan pada 6 carbon atoms ini kita ada sebanyak 2 carboxylic acid group di hujung sebelah kiri dan juga di hujung sebelah kanan. So in this case, these 6 carbon atoms yang mengandungi 2 carboxyl group ini will become the parent. So to give the numbering of this parent chain, kita tengok pula kepada substituent. So here kita ada substituent at this position. So substituent nampaknya seperti paling dekat dengan this end. So in this case, you have to start the numbering from the left. Okay, yang paling closest to the substituent. So by doing that, maka this carbon will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So substituent here is methyl dan berada pada 3rd position. So the name of the substituent will be 3-methyl. And for the parent name pula, since kita ada 6 carbon atoms, so the name will be hexane. Okay, 2 carboxylic acid, dioic acid. So hexane dioic acid merujuk kepada hexane, 6 carbon of parent yang mempunyai 2 carboxylic acid di kedua-dua hujung of the molecule. Alright, dalam struktur yang kedua, kita ada carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, dan kedudukan of the structure ni dilukis secara mencapah sebegini. So kalau mencapah macam ni sahaja, maka please remember ada kemungkinan okay, for the name to be sama ada cis ataupun trans. Okay, so abaikan dahulu cis ataupun trans. Okay, abaikan dahulu geometrical isomerism. Kita cari dahulu according to steps yang biasa. Okay, so firstly you have to find the most longest and continuous carbon chain containing carboxyl. So, kita nampak seperti, so this chain adalah yang paling panjang and continuous. Okay, panjang and continuous. Dan on this parent chain, kita tak nampak any substituents pada this parent chain. Okay, so di sini apa kita kena buat adalah, you have to start the numbering of this parent chain yang berdekatan dengan, pertama, COOH. Okay, yang kedua, berdekatan dengan other functional group which is alkene. So di sini kalau awak start numbering daripada this carbon pun you akan dapat alkene pada kedudukan yang ketiga, and starting numbering from here sekalipun the carbon of double bond will be pada third position. So numbering boleh dibuat dalam mana-mana direction lah. Okay. So here will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dan 6. So, the name of this molecule sahaja without the geometrical isomerism adalah, pada carbon yang ketiga kita ada carbon-carbon double bond. Okay. So, 6 carbon atom mempunyai carbon-carbon double bond. Pada tempat yang ketiga, the name will be trihexene. Okay, trihexene. And then when we have carboxylic acid pada kedudukan 1 dan kedudukan yang ke-6, so you just add dioic acid. Okay, dan untuk nak bagi nama according to geometrical isomerism, so please fokus pada setiap carbon of the carbon-carbon double bond. So pada carbon double bond yang di sebelah kiri di sini, okay, antara hydrogen dan juga compound yang di bawah ini, this one has greater mass. Okay, begitu juga dengan pada carbon yang keempat di sini, okay, this compound has greater mass. So the bigger mass now berada pada opposite direction, so that's why the name ini we should put trans di hadapan. Okay, so it will become trans 3-hexene dioic acid. Carboxyl group can combine with carboxylic acid to give a new parent name we call as benzoic acid. So, for the benzoic acid, the carbon of the benzene ring that attached to the carboxyl group will be labeled as carbon number 1. So proceed the numbering until 6 carbon, dan kita dapati di sini we have substituents chloro on the first position. So the name of this molecule will be 4-chlorobenzoic acid. Okay, ataupun you boleh gunakan penggantian auto, meta ataupun para. So since we have 1-4 position between carboxyl dan juga chloro, so the name of this compound also could be para-chlorobenzoic acid. And for the second structure di sini, kita ada benzene ring that having COOH dan juga methyl. So since kita ada 2 different substituents on this benzene ring, maka seperti biasa awak kena check priority of the group. So di sini priority of the COOH is higher than the methyl, so the carboxyl here can combine with this benzene ring to get a new parent name, iaitu benzoic acid. So the first carbon of the benzene ring that attached to carboxyl group will be labeled as carbon number 1, and proceed numbering that gives the substituent at lowest position. So the name of this compound will be 3-methyl benzoic acid. Okay, ataupun since we have 1-3 position between these two, you boleh juga gunakan M for meta, methyl benzoic acid. Now, how if we have 2 carboxyl on the same benzene ring. So by having this, maka penamaan of this molecule will become 1X benzene dicarboxylic acid. So what does it mean by 1X? So dalam struktur di sini kita ada dua carboxyl group pada these two different position. Okay, so definitely for the numbering, this carbon will be carbon number 1. Okay, and proceed ke kiri to complete the numbering. So, karbon yang pertama ini merujuk kepada this position. Okay, dan X merujuk kepada position carboxyl pada carbon yang seterusnya iaitu third position. So, the name of this compound will become 1,3-benzene dicarboxylic acid. Now, how if we have carboxyl with cycloalkane? So by having these two, the name of the compound will be cycloalkane carboxylic acid. And the carbon atoms of the cycloalkane that directly bonded to COOH will be numbered as carbon 1. So in this example, kita ada cyclopentane dan juga carboxyl group. So for the numbering, this carbon on the cyclopentane will be labeled as carbon number 1. Okay, so the name of the molecule will be cycloalkane carboxylic acid. So bila kita ada 5 carbons on the ring, maka the name will be cyclopentane carboxylic acid. In the first structure here, we have cyclohexane that directly bonded to carboxyl group. So definitely this carbon of cyclohexane will be carbon number 1. And the name of this molecule will be cyclohexane carboxylic acid. And in second structure juga kita ada cyclohexane that directly bonded to the carboxyl group. So definitely this carbon on cyclohexane will be carbon number 1. And proceed numbering that giving the substituent at lowest position ataupun that giving lowest summations of locant. So by having that rule, maka you have to proceed numbering ke atas. Okay, so here kita ada substituent methyl on second position dan substituent bromo on the fourth position. So untuk nak menulis nama yang full, maka you have to susun according to alphabetical order. So the name of the molecule now will be 4-bromo 2-methyl cyclohexane carboxylic acid. By having 2 carboxyl with cycloalkane, the molecule will be named as 1X cycloalkane dicarboxylic acid. So in this structure, kita ada 2 carboxyl group on cyclohexane. So the position of the 2 carboxyl will be 1 and 2. So the name of the molecule will be 1,2-cyclohexane dicarboxylic acid. Dan in structure here pula kita ada 2 carboxyl dan juga 1 chloro. So di sini numbering akan start from this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, kenapa kita tak start yang warna purple ni? Warna purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so definitely you boleh nampak sekiranya kita gunakan warna purple, positions of the chloro will be at 5th position. Okay, which is kedudukan yang sangat tinggi lah. Okay, so due to this reason, kita akan pilih numbering yang warna merah. So by having this, untuk bagi full name dia, the substituents naming mesti berada di permulaan of the full name. Maka the full name of this molecule will be 4-chloro 1,2-cyclohexane dicarboxylic acid. When a compound contains carboxyl group and other functional group, the priority is given to the carboxylic acid as the parent name. So, cuba tengok structure yang di sebelah kiri ini. So, in this structure, kita ada cyclohexene dan juga we have carboxyl group. So, between these two functional group, carboxyl has the highest priority functional group. So, maka dengan itu, the first carbon on the cyclohexene will be labeled as carbon number 1 and proceed numbering that giving alkene and substituent at lowest position. So, the name of this molecule will be 3-methyl 2-cyclohexene carboxylic acid. Kenapa? Because we have methyl substituent on the third position. Okay, the ring name is cyclohexene. Okay, dan dua ini adalah untuk indicate the first location of the carbon-carbon double bond in the cyclohexene. Okay, so 3-methyl 2-cyclohexene carboxylic acid. Okay, the first structure here we have cyclopropane. Dan on the structure of the cyclopropane, kita ada juga carboxyl dan CH3. So definitely, carboxyl dan cyclopropane will become the parent. So this carbon will be carbon yang pertama, 2 dan 3. Okay, so bila awak nampak saja this kind of bonding, okay, untuk cycloalkane lah especially awak nampak this kind of bonding, ada yang dotted lines dengan yang bold lines di sini. So maksudnya di sini, kemungkinan akan ada jawapan yang melibatkan geometrical isomerism. Okay, kenapa macam tu? If you expand the structure pada karbon yang pertama dan juga karbon yang kedua di sini, kita akan dapati bahawa sekiranya COOH bonding itu adalah dotted lines, so the other bonding iaitu C dengan hydrogen ini will be yang wedge. Okay, wedge line, wedge bonding. So untuk karbon yang kedua pula, yang wedge ataupun bold itu adalah CH3. So yang the dash ones itu adalah with hydrogen. Okay, so di sini the name of this molecule adalah 2-methyl cyclopropane carboxylic acid. Okay, 2-methyl cyclopropane carboxylic acid. But before kita tulis nama yang penuh, okay, cuba tengok pada karbon yang pertama dan karbon yang kedua. Pada karbon yang pertama, antara COOH dan juga hydrogen, this one has bigger mass. Pada karbon yang kedua, antara H and CH3, methyl has bigger mass. So now kita nampak seperti bigger mass pada karbon pertama dan kedua ini berada pada different orientation. Okay, opposite orientation. So the name of this molecule will be trans 2-methyl cyclopropane carboxylic acid. Alright, in the second structure, kita ada cyclohexane dan pada cyclohexane kita ada sebanyak 2 carboxyl group dan juga 2 substituent di sini. So, macam mana kita nak bagi numbering? Alright, the priority must be put on the carboxyl. Maksudnya, sekiranya karbon ini will be karbon yang pertama, karbon yang kedua will be di sebelah bawah. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, kenapa macam ni? Ini adalah kerana priority mesti diberikan kepada functional group carboxyl. So, you have to pastikan bahawa kedudukan of the second carboxyl mesti berada pada lowest position. So, that's why you akan start numbering daripada sini and proceed ke bawah. Dan bukannya proceed ke sebelah kanan, ke sebelah kiri, sorry. Okay, if you proceed ke sebelah kiri, so kedudukan of this carboxyl akan berada pada kedudukan yang kelima, 1, 5. Okay, which is sangat jauh. Okay, that will give you a higher number untuk position of the parent. So, you must avoid that. So, in this case, numbering akan start daripada karbon yang pertama dan you akan follow through ke bawah to give the second substituent ataupun second carboxyl ini pada kedudukan yang ketiga, which is lowest position daripada yang tadi. Alright, so pada ring ini juga kita ada 2 lagi substituent dekat sini, iaitu NH2 amines and this is nitro. Okay, so kita ada 5 amino dan 5 nitro. So the name of this molecule will be 5 amino 5 nitro cyclohexane 1,3 dicarboxylic acid. Right, now in the first structure here, kita ada dua important functional group, iaitu carboxyl and hydroxyl. So untuk tentukan siapakah yang akan menjadi parent, maka you have to refer to the priority of the group, dan kita dapati bahawa of course carboxyl has higher priority. So in this case, carboxyl will become the parent, and this carbon will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So by having this cabang iaitu methyl berada pada third position. OH sebagai substituent, the name is hydroxyl. Okay, so we have 4 hydroxy for the OH substituent. So the full name of this compound will be 4-hydroxy 3-methyl butanoic acid. In second structure, we do have carboxyl group and carbonyl ketone. So antara these two, again, carboxyl has higher priority to become the parent. So maka numbering of this parent akan bermula daripada this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, you will have butanoic acid. Tetapi, what will be the name of this ketone sebagai substituent? So the name of the ketone sebagai substituent adalah oxo. Okay, so oxo berada pada second position. So the name will be 2-oxo. Alright, so the full name of this molecule akan menjadi 2-oxo butanoic acid. In the first example, we have benzene ring that attached to carboxyl, amino, and 2-chloro. So between these 4 groups, which one has higher priority to become the parent when combined with benzene ring? So the answer is definitely carboxyl group. So the combination of carboxyl and benzene will give us benzoic acid. So this carbon should be carbon number 1. Okay, so carbon manakah should be carbon yang kedua? So di sini seems kita ada amino dan 2-chloro at the same position or same location, maka kita akan lihat kepada alphabetical order. Okay, so proceed numbering ke arah kiri atau ke arah bawah akan memberikan the next substituent pada position yang sama. Okay, so in that case, bila kedudukannya sama, maka priority dia akan jatuh kepada alphabetical order. So memandangkan kita ada A dan juga C, so A has lowest order of alphabetical, maka carbon yang kedua akan proceed ke bawah. Okay, so by having this, the name of this molecule will be 3-amino 4,5-dichlorobenzoic acid. In second structure pula, kita ada 2 carboxyl, okay, with benzene ring. So sekiranya kita ada 2 same higher priority substituent on the benzene ring, that will give you a name yang bukannya benzoic acid. Okay, you cannot use benzoic acid anymore sebagai parent name. Kerana apa? Kerana kita ada 2 COOH yang bonded directly kepada benzene ring. Okay, so di sini the name of the molecule akan menjadi 1,3-benzene dicarboxylic acid, ataupun common name yang famous adalah terephthalic acid. The first compound here is named 3-butanoic acid. Okay, let's have a look at this second structure.
So for the second structure, kita nampak ada carbon-carbon double bond. Dan kedudukan of the bonding ni ada mencapah atau bercabang macam ni. So definitely kalau awak nampak je macam ni, bermaksud ada tendensi untuk kita bagi nama for this molecule, okay, menggunakan geometrical isomer cis ataupun trans. So just forget about cis and trans dahulu. Okay, kita cari dahulu the longest and continuous parent chain containing carboxyl. So it seems like kita ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so maksudnya kalau awak start numbering from this carbon, okay, ataupun this carbon, positions of the double bond dan juga carboxyl akan tetap berada pada kedudukan yang sama. So it doesn't matter lah nak start numbering daripada mana sekalipun. So I choose to start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dan 6. Okay, so now since we have 6 carbon and we have alkene on the third position, so the name of this molecule will be 3-hexene. Okay, dan kita ada 2 carboxyl pada kedudukan 1 dan juga 6. So di sini adakah you perlu masukkan kedudukan carboxyl 1, 6 sekiranya kita ada aliphatic chain? Jawapannya adalah tidak. Okay, sekiranya awak ada cycloalkane dan mempunyai 2 COOH, barulah you indicate the positions of the the position of the carboxyl. Okay, untuk case yang macam ni, yes, for this one, kita kena indicate positions of the carboxyl group on the cycloalkane. Tetapi sekiranya you ada aliphatic yang tiada ring, maka you do not have to indicate the positions of the COOH. So, nak tulis macam mana? Just tambahkan 3-hexene dioic acid. Okay, and then selepas itu, baru kita akan tengok pada carbon-carbon double bond ini. Okay, for this carbon, antara H and this kumpulan, so this kumpulan has bigger mass. Dan pada carbon yang lagi satu pun, sama juga, this kumpulan has bigger mass. So, seems like we have bigger mass on the same side. So, the name of this molecule will be cis-3-hexene dioic acid.